welcome back. This is the final part of our lessons of EV history. When I was talking that in the third decade of the 20th century, electric vehicles lost their battle and were almost not produced anymore. I emphasize on the word almost. When we're talking about the electric vehicles and electric transportation system in the 20th century, let me first mention mass transit, passenger transportation in urban areas. And first of all, we have to mention underground transport, because subway, metros, undergrounds has to be pollution free, zero pollution, emission free, because it's very complicated to arrange the proper air circulation system for vehicles utilizing fuel burning. And also, not only underground transportation has to be mentioned, also we can speak about trams and trolley buses. When we're talking about transportation and passenger transportation, we have to mention not only in city transportation, but intercity and even interstate transportation. And electrified railroads, another example of successful using electric vehicles. Of course, in the United States, we can say that about the same situation, that electric locomotives lost their batteries for diesel ones. But in Europe, lately in Soviet Union and in Asia, electric railroads became the very important part of global transportation system. And nowadays we can speak about fast trains for passenger transport. In some cases, this kind of electric vehicles can compete with short-range airplanes. Also, when we are talking about the underground transportation, has to be pollution-free. Just for the same reason, transport used in warehouses has to be zero pollution. In different types of forklift, lift trucks, and all other types of warehouse transport is and was produced in large amounts by different major car producers. Also, we can mention golf carts and as another example of electric vehicles. Of course, the market share of such vehicles was not so big. Also, much more interesting example is so-called milk float. In the UK, electric vehicles lost their battle, but not like commercial vehicles. Electric vehicles were widely used for local food delivery. It's very vivid and very important example, because even using all type of lead acid battery was enough for many purposes for local delivery. And at some moment, the number of electric vehicles on the UK roads were more than all the rest of the world. The last thing to mention is the field application of electric vehicles. We can speak about military and space applications. Talking about military applications, I'm not sure that torpedo can be attributed to be vehicle or vessels. But nevertheless, electric torpedo became popular in the Second World War. And after that, in Germany, in Russia, in United Kingdom, and in United States. The main reason why: first, it has no tail bubbles indicating the direction of torpedo movement. Also, the power of electric propulsion does not depend on the depth of the stroke, and such propulsions are more stable during movement. Because when you have fuel burning and get change in the gravity, the center of gravity. The more interesting example of military and not only military applications, special applications, it's nuclear powered ships, vessels. We can mention nuclear powered carriers or nuclear powered submarines. But more important to mention is nuclear powered icebreakers in the Soviet Union. It's quite peaceful example of electric vessels. And it's clear demonstration that for some purposes electric propulsion for marine application is very efficient. So, of course, nowadays the area of ice is decreasing. So this type of electric vessels became the victims of global warming. The last thing to mention is using electric transport, electric vehicles for the lunar or marine transportation. When we are talking about lunar rover, another demonstration of General Motors electric vehicles, it's clear that because we cannot find oxygen, not enough on lunar surface, vehicles for such kind of application should have electric propulsion.